Welcome back, everybody, to the show. I am your host, as always, Jay Villain, aka That Villain Jay, and with me, my co-host on the Black Council podcast, as always, the Black Council podcast. As always, is the numbest of skulls, Mr. Numbskull himself, currently ranked number 10 mythic in the world. From what I remember, from what he was just telling me.
Nah, I'm Diamond 3, dude.
Diamond 3. Oh, okay. Well, it was nice seeing everyone. This is the last episode. I don't podcast with scrubs, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm sorry I have failed you.
Oh my god. Yeah. Listen, as you may or may not know, I am the CEO of Platinum 3. I've been in Platinum 3 for about a week straight. So I'm about done there already. I got there like the first day, and I'm pretty happy there. That's my home. So don't worry about it. You'll be mythic next. You'll be mythic next podcast. But welcome everybody to this fantabulous, wonderful podcast. Episode 34, I want to say, or we just did 34. Is it 30? Oh my goodness, we've done a lot.
Damn. I guess that makes sense though.
Yeah, it would make sense that it's
we'll be
34.
at a year soon.
We're coming up on a year celebration. We've done a lot. We've been having a great time with it. Let's see, what number was that? That was 33. We're on 34 right now. Wow.
Okay, you were right. Yeah, nice.
Well, it's great having you all here to join us, and we're excited because Lord of the Rings, the new Magic Arena set that is not standard, is coming out. All right.
Historic and Alchemy and Historic Brawl are the formats where you can play it on Arena. Non-Arena formats will include Modern and Commander, and things older than Modern, like Legacy and Vintage, and like Free-for-All, if you play Free-for-All.
Is Pioneer and Explorer not getting it?
Correct. Yeah, because these are... Pioneer is definitely not. Explorer isn't, because I don't think Explorer gets like Commander cards. And this is like a Commander set, and Pioneer doesn't get Commander cards either, from what I understand.
Okay.
So the Legacy formats are Modern and older.
Okay,
we'll get it. So yeah, they're waiting to see if that affects anything, you know.
Yeah. All right, interesting. So our main thing is obviously going to be historic, and we are big fans of Alchemy. Please don't immediately turn off the podcast, unsubscribe, and set your computer on fire. Listen, guys, Alchemy is not the worst thing in the world. I'm going to keep campaigning for it. I wish people liked it more. By the way, guys, you may or may not know this. Here's a bonus for y'all. A lot of people don't know. Alchemy is rotating.
Yeah.
Alchemy's rotating in September. If you're unhappy with the rotation changes and you want a rotation, Alchemy's the place to be. So you might want to take a look at these cards, because this is kind of the new set, and the old stuff is going bye-bye. We're losing a lot of stuff out of there. So if you want a little bit of more of a fresh take on things, consider getting Alchemy pilled.
Well, and if there were ever a time to do it, I mean, maybe you used a lot of them already, but you just got 12 wild cards.
Yeah, you just got some bans.
There's only going to be X amount of Alchemy cards outside of the regular standard cards that you need to use.
Yeah.
And like we always say, like, you don't craft all the Alchemy cards like you try to craft all the standard cards.
No.
You craft the ones that you want to use that are going to make your deck better.
Absolutely.
And it's just a few. You burn a few rares on it, and then that's it. And then it's like enhanced standard.
Yeah.
So this is actually a decent opportunity for someone to get into it. Kind of like we always say, it's the best time to get into standard is like right around a rotation time, because you only have X amount of sets to worry about. Same concept, but this time around, when was the last time you had a rotation coming up, but you also just got given 12 wild cards?
Yeah. So
I think it's a good time.
It's a good time to get, and you have this new one coming up. You're going to be getting cards and packs from the Mastery Pass regardless. You're going to get your free packs.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a little bit of a leg up into getting into Alchemy game here coming up. And I recommend it, is if you're not happy with standard, this is the place to be, man. This is
Yeah.
so we definitely wanted to go in and check out. And today, well, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to give you our personal. Each of us is going to give you our top 5 cards we're excited about that we want to keep an eye out for. And then, of course, we have as our one card to rule them all. May I even call it that? The one card that me and Numbskull agree on that is probably one of the best kind of really almost format breaking, just absolute banger piece of cards that we're just like, that's the number 0. So you're going to get 11
value.
cards. Yeah, just insane value. You're going to get 11 cards today that we recommend. It's a good idea. Maybe just start looking at it, maybe start thinking about it and say, hey, do I want to do this or do I want to do something else? Or I would suggest it. I'm going to be making videos about it. I know Numbskull's going to be streaming it. So you're definitely going to want to check it out today.
And we both have early access to this too, so
we do.
We're gonna be making decks and playing them in Alchemy for you guys.
Yeah,
that'll be an upcoming episode of the podcast.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do an early access.
Jay and I doing that
podcast episode. And if you want early access to our early access episode and see how these cards play, how we put together our deck. Before everyone else, well, if you become a patron of the Black Council podcast, you get early access to these videos, usually about 24 to 48 hours early. You get to see these videos even before they come out for everyone else. For as little as $1 a month, you can join our Patreon. The link's right there, patreon.com/the Black Council. You get access to our exclusive Discord. We are organizing our tournament as we speak for 20 patrons. We've got all kind of stuff there. We
21
have
now.
21 patrons now. Yeah, might go up too.
So however many are there, you're in. And our other council members who were guests.
Anyone who was a previous guest. And we're working. We're talking with a couple of content creators right now who will go unnamed to come on the podcast soon. So we're excited about that. Additionally, if you saw the Dragons episode, we got a lore episode. The council voted on that. That's what they wanted. They wanted to see a lore episode. We gave them one. They're talking about they want to see maybe an Angels one next, or maybe an Elspeth one next. So we're going to see that
on the Elspeth.
The council gets to kind of decide the themes of stuff that comes out on these podcasts too. So if you want a little bit more control and exclusive access, I would definitely check out the Patreon and join up. You want me to read them, or you want to?
Go ahead. I just had 2 more things to say about the Patreon.
Sure.
Patreon also, you get the early access, but also that of which you can join for as little as $1 a month.
Little as $1 a month.
All right, so that's super cheap. We want to make it. We always say we go for more of a volume thing here rather than a, like a price or a cost per membership. We want it to be as easy for you as possible to join because we want as many people because it is a council. So we want the volume of people, and then we want it to create a community, but it still has to be something that we separate slightly from like our regular communities as streamers. Like, Jay and I each already have our own community, so we had to add a little bit of exclusivity to it. But we are adding as little as we possibly can, the tiniest bit, a $1 worth of exclusivity, essentially. But basically, where we're at here. Another thing we have in the Discord is, we discuss a lot of things there, and like we were saying earlier, where you can get into Alchemy, if you are unsure of what you want to do in Alchemy, you can reach out to Jay and I there. There's other people.
We'll help you.
Who play Alchemy. You'll have a great resource, between us and then the other council members, where you can kind of get some advice. Hey, what card should I craft? What decks are good in Alchemy that I need to watch out for? We play a good bit of Alchemy. I know a lot of other Discords servers you may go in and ask that question. People might be rude to you.
They might just or best ignore it.
Yeah, or you get banned or whatever. Or Pleasant Kenobi pops out of your computer screen and bitch slaps you. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But something like that. So, you know what I mean? It's a place where we can talk about it. It's a council. We want to help you. We're here to help. We all help each other, and we all, bounce ideas off one another. And then that's also kind of how we come up with collectively what the new episodes are going to be that Jay and I talk about too. So
absolutely.
Definitely sign up to be a patron. I just had another buddy message me saying that he signed up. He loves listening to the podcast every week. We hope you do too. And if you want to sign up for the to be a patron, like we said, we make it as as monetarily untaxing as possible.
$1 a month, $1 an episode.
$1 a
if
month,
you can
man.
hack it, you can give more if you want. You're certainly under no obligation to.
But
it's your choice.
But without holding you up too much, Jay, I will let you read the paid.
Absolutely. We would like to thank our new guys coming in. We have Deadfast, welcome. Frankie E, Mother of Steel, W. Taylor, Szechuan Anon, The Clash, Lars Van Breem, Great Xylo Beast, Jamel Langford, Jamel Zilla, Stumfa, Trexodactyl, Lord Gypticus, The Flipticus, Mamulian, Cassius, Nickel Nuts, Hajar H-Man, Ulfvir, Dante Valentine, Clever Sound, and Blood Chief, and of course, the one and the only Paradabo. Not just one Dabo, but a whole pair of them. So those are our current patrons, our current active patrons. Thank you so much for supporting us. Without further ado, I think it's time to get into get into our top 10 list, guys. This is also a live premiere, so if you're watching, you can type in what do you think, what cards do you like. We're usually there in the chat as well, talking with you. So leave a comment as well. What do you like? Do you hate this set? Do you loathe it? Do you love it? We want to hear some feedback, because I'm kind of feeling a lot of mixed emotions about this Lord of the Rings set. I think a lot of people are conflicted about it, perhaps. So, all right. That being said, do you want to have the honor of going first there?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right. What is your first choice, Numbskull? What are you looking to craft in this new Lord of the Rings set?
So this will be, we're going to go in reverse order, 5 through 1. So this is going to be my number 5. It is an artifact, actually. Fun little card, and it does a lot. Sorry, I'm scrolling. It is called Palin Theater of Orthanc. It's a 3-mana legendary artifact. It is a mythic, so keep that in mind.
Mythic
one of the last cards. Yeah, one of the last cards printed in the set too, number 247. Another more art by Tatiana, which I believe she does the Liliana arts.
Oh,
so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I just realized that actually. I think that's her. I could be wrong though. Either way, great art on it. The orb looks sweet. There's like a big orb. I think Jay will show the card.
You can ponder.
Yeah, you can ponder. So it says, at the beginning of your end step, put an influence counter on Palin Theater of Orthanc and scry 2. So that's pretty decent already. Then target opponent may have you draw a card. If that player doesn't, you mill X cards, where X is the number of influence counters on Palin Theater of Orthanc. And that player loses life equal to the total mana value of those cards. So my idea here is this is your Reanimator shell. This goes with your Reanimator stuff. You're going to fill your graveyard, make your opponents lose life. You're going to put your Atali, your Flesh Gorger, your Atraxa, your, whatever, your huge creature in the grave that costs tons of mana. That big new Convoke creature. It's a legendary artifact. It doesn't have any mana restrictions. You can cast it however you want. Hell, you can cast it with Power Stones. You are so free to do whatever you want with this card. And it's a card that makes your opponent lose life. You don't even have to have the creatures in the bin. You could have high cost non-creature spells too. You know what I mean? And even if it's 3-4 life, okay, that adds up quick. And it's like each turn you're milling more cards. So the longer that sits out, it just kind of snowballs. I think getting it out on turn 3 and having the effect start on that third turn, I think that's legit. So, and you get to scry 2 no matter what, so that's dope. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's kind of like your Cosmos Elixir, but like way even more broken, way more broken.
Yeah, I remember the damn Cosmos Elixir.
Yeah, but it's also like it's not annoying because the Cosmos Elixir made it so that your opponent was harder to kill. This makes it so that you die, so you just have to act accordingly. It's one thing if you have a card that's a mechanic that kills me. It's another one where you make yourself untouchable with like rude cards, you know. This one is just gonna like it's actually offense, and that's what I like. It's not really passive. It is an active card.
Yeah,
but it does so many things for 3 mana.
I think it's an insane support card. Like it just does so much stuff.
It could go in like probably any deck, really. I don't like, maybe not an aggro deck because you probably want to put a creature on 3, but you also don't have to play it on turn 3. You can play it on.
So what I'm hearing, Numbskull, right now is this is the new Bank Buster. That's what you're telling me right now.
Oh yeah,
new Bank Buster confirmed.
Yeah, it almost like combines Bank Buster and Cosmos Elixir, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and then it's right in the middle in regards to mana cost. That's kind of interesting. Yeah,
you heard it here
totally
first.
Broken.
New Bank Buster confirmed by Numbskull. He loves it. He loved the original Bank Buster, and he loves this one.
I mean, I didn't really see Bank Buster as that crazy of a card. I used it in my mono black decks that were a little more aggro-y to get that.
I think the biggest problem is it was just ubiquitous. Like it was just in everything.
This seems rather ubiquitous, or like it will be ubiquitous.
It could be as well. It could be a sleeper.
But it's doing so much stuff, and I like that it does. Like, yeah, you could put it in anything, but it also helps strengthen particular mechanics, whereas the Bank Buster was very general.
Okay.
This strengthens the life losing mechanic, the fill your graveyard mechanic, the put creatures in the bin for reanimator mechanic, that kind of thing. Or just the only thing that's generic is the card draw and scrying, which I mean I understand. Yeah. But it furthers other things, so I think it's like better in some decks than others. Whereas Bank Buster was pretty much good anywhere. Yeah. You know what I mean? So hopefully this doesn't get banned. We'll see.
We'll see. Oh, well, it'll be around for a while. They don't ban cards, until a year after they've been destroying a format.
They'll at least let it rock out for a year.
Yeah.
So
so my first one, I'm going it's a banger. It was hard to choose this one as my first one of them or last one, but I am going to be going with some anti-blue tech because I don't like blue. Last March of the Ents. Yes. This card is absurd for the value, and it's expensive as all get out. It's 8 mana, 2 green and 6. However, if you're a master of mono green ramp, you can get this out for ridiculous. You can get this out for a lot cheaper. You have a lot of options to get this out quicker than you can, even if you run it in Gruul and treasure ramped a little bit. 2 green and 6. This spell cannot be countered. I love seeing those words on a card. It just fills me with joy. Yeah. Draw cards equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. So if you have a 7/7, you draw 7 cards. Then put any number of creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield.
Beautiful.
Come on, man. Yeah. You could load your hand up. Draw 14 cards. You could have 7 cards in your hand. Draw 7 more or 8 more, and then end up put 12 creatures out on the battlefield, and it's uncountable.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
What was that other one? That almost like gets all the creatures in your deck. That was also a green card in Alchemy that was crazy broken too. Do you remember that? It's very similar to this.
That's not Storm the Festival, right?
No. It's like it's the Alchemy card, and it's like whatever your strongest creature is, you get to put like
Cabretti Revels
in the battlefield. No. It's a high cost like this too, and it's a sorcery.
I don't remember that one.
But yeah, it's similar to that, but it's quite strong. And Yeah, I mean, just imagine, you play your Atali or you cheat out your Atali and then you hit this off of it. Can you believe that?
Oh yeah, I mean,
This Atali in one turn is like that's got to be a scoop.
And if you have what is that, heated confrontation or anything that gives everything haste, yeah,
that's
what is that one called? Heated.
There's Bitter Reunion.
Bitter Reunion, yeah, Bitter Reunion. Yeah, you could
sacrifice and everything gets haste.
Absolutely set up something like that. You could have that on turn 2 and just ready to go. Boom, hit it out, and then all of a sudden you wreck somebody just with a power hit.
I think you just found your early access deck, Jay.
I'm definitely going to be running a Gruul last March of the Ents. And who's going to stop? How are they going to stop it? They can't stop it. It's coming.
Can't counter it.
The Ents start coming and they don't stop coming. You know what I'm saying?
And they never stop coming. I'm looking at this. I'm just like kind of Googling your cards as we go. Already showing as going for a $14 card before it's even released.
Oh yeah, no, there's value. That is
the perceived value. I think Commander, they're getting a freaking hard on for this card already because they don't care about high cost spells.
No, it's a slower game. So I feel like with the amount of ramp that we have in green, with any mana dorks or mana rocks that you can put in, I mean, especially with high power, some lopsided creatures that have a high power and you can draw that many, it's very good. I mean, combine it with Nisa, it would be even worse. So there's a lot of potential in Last March of the Ents. I really like that card. I'm looking forward to that one.
And I think it's possibly even more broken in Historic with Craterhoof Behemoth, things like that. And because mono green has even crazier ramp in Historic, and then you have access to Great Henge, where you could cast this spell by tapping that, I think, for 2 or 3 mana, and if you have Nykthos out, you spend 2 or 3 mana and tap.
Llanowar Elves is out
in the land. Yeah, your Llanowar's out. You have a couple other permanents. You're tapping 2 things, and then you're playing this card, and you play half your deck.
And again,
those are mostly creatures, so
it's not going to get countered. So it's not like, I jacked off my turn, I'm trying to play a big card. It's going to hit. Divide by zero's banned, so
Yeah. I think it's a phenomenal card, man. I think that's a great choice. I like the Ents kind of things that were. I like that theme. I know there's another red Ent card. I don't know if either of us chose it, but I know that one seems like a bomb too.
For sure.
So
definitely like Ents. They're tree folk. It's great.
Yeah.
What do you got next there, Numbskull?
I've got we're gonna get into the actual main characters that we have come to love over the years within Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you Legolas Master Archer. He's a 3 mana. He is an elf archer. 1/4 reach, and when you cast a spell that targets him, he's gonna get a +1/+1 counter. When you cast a spell that targets a creature you don't control, he deals damage equal to its power to up to 1 target creature. So you can do a fight spell on 1 creature, and then he's a fight spell onto either the same one or another one or whatever. And he has 4 toughness. So it just seems like a really good blocker. I think he's going to be good in draft, and I think he's also good in constructed for this purpose too, because he can grow. Could also see him possibly fitting into a one of those I know it sounds weird, but you could put him with Venerated Rot Priest. And I know a lot of people hate that card, but you kind of get that
target my own people.
Yeah, cheap spell casting, and then you do the fight stuff, and then because I think if you do the one where it's I think if you do a fight spell, you're targeting your creature and a creature you don't control. So not only is he getting a counter when you do the fight spell and then fighting, he's also dealing damage equal to his power to another creature outside of the fight and the counter. All for 1 extra spell while he's on the battlefield. And if Venerated Rot Priest is out, the opponent gets a poison counter.
Exactly.
So it just really starts to stack up.
Yeah, you start getting those good combo plays.
you get the combo plays, and then he brings another dimension to these poison decks. If you want to go that route, so that's an option. Or you can just kind of do like a mono green fight deck, and or maybe you do maybe you give them Death Touch or something. There's a card that gives your creatures Death Touch, and then you're targeting the opponent with that, and then then you can just kill whatever. So there's some stuff you can do. You could do Golgari, you could do mono green, you could do Selesnya, you know what I mean? So you have options here, and I think we have to pay a little bit of homage to our heroes of Lord of the Rings. So I started with Legolas.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
One of my favorite players to play as in the games back in the day. Legolas was an awesome. What was it? Twin. I think Twin Towers was my favorite back in the day on PS2.
The Two Tower. Oh yeah, the game. Yeah, I like Return of the King.
Two Towers. Yeah, Return of the King was really good. Two Towers and Return of the King. I think the first one was a little. It wasn't developed properly yet. But then in the second one they started to get it right, and in the third one it was like a banger. And yeah, so he was really fun to use. He was fun to play as that character in those games.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we all love Legolas. Orlando Bloom's best role.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely like a built-in fight guy is interesting mechanic. I like to see that. So we were talking about named characters, or at least the characters that we know from the story. I've got to go dark with this one. I gotta be the opposition to the Legolas of the antagonists to the Fellowship of the Ring. Unfortunately, we've got to bring it up, and it's probably going to be one of the first things that that I run. It's of course going to be the Nazgul, aka the Ring Wraiths, often imitated, never duplicated. The 9 for the men doomed to die. The Ring Wraiths are an interesting combo because they do an interesting thing, which is you can have 9 of them in your deck. Which technically, I'm going to put on my nerd glasses here. Technically, you should have 8 Ring Wraiths in your deck and 1 Nazgul, who is the Witch King of Angband. But I guess we can forgive them for making that little mistake. Anyways, so yeah, the Lord of the Nazgul is, of course, the Witch King of Angmar. Angmar, not Angband. Angband is where he's from. He is the Witch King of Angmar. Anyways. The cool thing is they actually gave them 9 different arts. They made a different art for each one of them. The Black Riders, the Ring Wraith, they are Wraith Knights, which is awesome. I love Knights. I think Knights are awesome. And they're uncommon, so you can easily get a bunch of them. They're 1 black and 2, 1/2 Death Touch Knight, which I love. When it enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you, which is a whole complicated thing I don't want to get into right now. But each time that the ring tempts you, you put a 1/1 counter on each wraith you control, and you can have 9 of these. So the more you play, the more powerful they get. These are horrible armored black, swathed in black dark riders, which just look so awesome and edgy, and I love that shit.
They're pretty cool.
And the more you get on the board each time that the ring tempts you, which is, it does a lot of different things. Like I said, you can look up what the ring tempts you does. Well, I can give you a little preview of what it does. So each time it comes out, it kind of, as each temptation grows, so does the ring bearer. You choose a ring bearer, you can change the ring bearer, blah, 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 blah. It's kind of like a dungeon. Remember the dungeons?
Yeah, I do. Remember
so your ring bearer is a legendary and can't be blocked. These aren't legendary; they're just Nazgul. So the only legendary one is going to be the Witch King. I just love it, man. I think that having a ton of these that just all feed into each other, it's thematic, it's cool. The fact that you can have 9, the fact that more of them on the board, and the more the ring temps, the stronger they get, and just death touching knights are always awesome. We have some great knight support coming up, so I really like that. They're just cool, man. Yeah. I can't resist it. I feel like it's very dangerous to have that many powerful death touch creatures attacking every single turn. With everything else that they could be supporting, it's just
and then and you put out a bunch of them, makes it really hard to attack into you also.
Yeah, they defend well, they attack well. And the more that each time you cast one, they're all going to get +1/+1. So by the time that you've cast your fourth one, they're going to be all going to be 4, 5, 6s.
Yeah.
5, 6 death touch knights. I mean,
and the knight synergy that we're getting is obviously really helpful for that too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's some other knights, and even in historic, you can run Orzhov Knights. You can run, Knight's Charge, which is going to every time a knight attacks, they lose 1 life, you gain 1 life. So just a lot of deadly combos you can pull out with the Nazgul.
Can't you? There's a knight that gives them all vigilance too, I think, right?
Yeah, there's knights that gives them all double strike. There's knights that just if we're talking historic and not alchemy, there's knights that do everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
I mean,
death touch and vigilance is a hell of a combo.
Exactly.
Now I'm attacking into you and daring you to block, and then when it's your turn, I'm daring you to attack me.
Exactly.
And I do it each time, every cycle. We don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't only get half; I get both now.
Yeah, and then and then you have something like Undying Malice, where I block, I put Undying Malice, and it dies and comes back with a +1, and the ring, and then when it comes back into play, when it enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you, so everyone gets a +1 enhancement again on top of that. So there's ridiculous combos potential there.
Yeah, so you technically don't even need to run like 9. You could just have other tempt you things.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could run 9 and temptation cards
on
top of everything.
Of course,
else.
Yeah, I guess you could just like auto trigger a temptation deck, so to speak. Yeah, that's pretty sweet, man. Yeah, I definitely like that. And notably, an uncommon.
Yeah, an uncommon.
So easy to craft because you might have to craft 9 of them. I don't know. Do you have to craft 9, or do you think if you have 4, they'll just let you go?
A lot of times when they have these, you can have as many. You can have a bunch of them. Sometimes they just give them to you.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, after 4, can I just get the other 5? Can we just,
a lot of times when these odd ones,
one
like,
thing if it was a rare, but it's an uncommon. Just give me 5.
I think that there's ways that they just. I think sometimes with these weird ones, they just give them to you because,
Sure. Okay. Well, yeah, that's sweet. I like it.
So very cool.
Yeah, Nazgul's great.
What's your next one?
My next one is going to be Mount Doom. And that's a land. But it's a land that's a board wipe.
Yes, because
you get to keep 2 creatures. Or if there are 2 creatures that some shit would hit the fan if they died that your opponents might control, then you can just leave those be and not give them death triggers.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of play it, how you need to play it. Rakdos, it's a mythic. I know I'm really taxing you guys, and I'm sorry. I think Legolas was a rare, so
yeah,
there's that. But yeah, this is a mythic, and the alchemy sets they do. I will give it to you. They do love to tax you on your wild cards. Now alchemy makes some really powerful uncommons. I'll give you that. But you do have to use a decent amount of rares and mythics to, get your alchemy stuff up, like properly beefed up. And this is a big set. This is a huge set. This is like the equivalent of Baldur's Gate from last year. So there are a lot of cards. I think there's more cards than Baldur's Gate, aren't there, Jay?
Yeah, I think so.
Because this says number 258, and usually they do like 250 in a set, and like that's it.
I think it is. Because we have a lot of. I think we have more commander. I don't think there's as many commander ones.
Okay, so yeah, a lot of cards, and just in the set in general, a lot of cards come into Arena. So this one's a mythic. Get your wild cards ready. It kind of works as like Sulphurous Springs, except it doesn't tap for colorless. You do have to choose, and you do have to pay a life for the red or black that you choose.
Mm-hmm.
But it also does not come in tapped. It's also legendary. You may only have 1 on the board at a time. You may still have 4 in the deck, but only 1 on the board at a time. And then you can pay 3 and tap it to deal a damage each opponent. That's kind of whatever. But it's also decent because it's like a mana sink if you're like top decking. you still do something, you know. Whereas, you know, other lands, you know, your Haunted Ridge, it just taps for mana. Your Sulphurous Springs, it just taps for mana and does damage to you. This one, you can do damage to your opponents if you're like top decking, or maybe you need that last point of damage. Boom, there you go. Notably, it says each opponent, so compatible in a commander setting. And then you can pay the 7 and then tap that and sack it. And a legendary artifact. You do have to have a legendary artifact on the board, so that's a thing too. But that'll go hand in hand with my Palin Theater of Orthonc. I will destroy all the creatures. I'll keep 2 of my creatures. You could even do that like main phase 1 and then just swing for lethal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have, you know, it gives you a little bit of utility, gives you some options there. It's Mount Doom. We all know what happens in Mount Doom in Lord of the Rings. It's just, it's a huge part of it. And
a rod of ruin.
Like, yeah, and it's kind of like the, you know, the like culmination of everything. It's like,
yeah,
this is where we go to begin the end, if you will, you know. So I think it's a very aptly named card. I like the mechanics because, you know, you have the lava, it's a volcano, all that. I think it's great. Obviously Rakdos is perfect for that. I think everything just works. So I think it's a great card.
It's definitely a cool card. I like that there's this volcano ability, which I don't know if there's very many other cards that have had some sort of volcano ability that, like, the land explodes and kills everyone, which is kind of fun.
Yeah. I think there's that one in Historic and Explorer that you sack the land and it does like 2 damage, but that's it. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, as high stakes as Mount Doom.
No.
So yeah, definitely liking this. You know, even if you just want to throw one of them in a Rakdos deck just for fun, because it doesn't come in tap, so it doesn't hurt you.
Yeah, it might as well.
You know what I mean? You might just, you know, maybe you get one in a booster, just throw it in there, man.
Yeah, just throw it in there.
Just throw it in there, man.
Throw it in there.
It might win you a game one day. You never know.
Exactly. Keeping with the darkness theme that we have embraced here, as you know, we like on the Black Council, I'm going with a banger that a lot of people have pointed out. That is going to be a common. This is going to be light on the wallet right here. And that is going to be the Merck Woodbats, which I think have just unbelievably game-breaking potential right here. The reason being, I don't know if you've seen the Merck Woodbats. It's if you're on Twitter, people have been talking about them. Their whole thing is that whenever you create or sacrifice a token, each opponent loses 1 life. They're a little expensive to get in. They're a 4-drop because they're common. Common cards are generally more expensive. A 2/3 flying bat. But my goodness, if we're talking about this in Rakdos, sacrificing treasure, sacrificing blood, you know, that is absurd. The fact that whenever you create or destroy a token
or sacrifice,
or create or sacrifice a token, like, oh my goodness, that means activating a treasure, using blood, any one of those is going to just drain. You talk about alchemy and you talk about putting in Sanguine Brushstroke and Blood Artist. You talk about doing treasure tokens like Ghoul, Deadly Dispute, and sacrificing treasure, sacrificing ghouls. Like, the amount that this enhances the gain and drain effect on things are just
beautiful.
It's just it and I realize it's a later in the game, but you could pull off one of those combos where as soon as it starts triggering, you're going to be creating tokens and removing tokens. It's just going to drain the life out of them. Even in an Orzhov token deck, you could go full board and do a huge attack with 1/1 tokens, and they're damned. If they you know, you could sacrifice
like rabble rousing.
Exactly, rabble rousing,
like that, you know,
something like that. You swing in with a heavy and get the rabble rousing off, or the Talia, or the Mural Shield of Argvale, or whatever.
Oh, Mural, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
So in a soldier deck, anything like that, it's ridiculously powerful. It has such abusable abilities, and it's a nice 2/3 flying. I mean, it can hold its own a little bit there, you know.
And it's a common. It's cheap.
It's a nice. That's what I'm talking about. If you've ever wanted to get an alchemy, take your standard,
your Anvil deck,
your standard Rakdos Anvil deck, your Anvil Blood deck, and throw this guy with common wilds. Throw this guy in there, and boom, you've turbocharged it. You
tell me you don't kill people faster.
Yeah, exactly. The efficiency, the killing efficiency has increased. So absolutely, I'm really looking forward to that one.
And there's a good bit of food token generation too. So now you're talking about, what do you gain 3 life off of a food?
Yeah, 3 life.
Now you're gonna. So when I make the food, you lose 1. When I sack it, you lose 1. I pay 2 mana to sack it. So for 2 mana, I gain 3, you lose 2.
Exactly.
With Merck Woodbats out, it's pretty good. It makes me more excited about food tokens rather than just only using it to gain life. If I'm making you lose life too, I'm instantly more interested. You know. So yeah, awesome card, common. You know, easy to cast. Only the 1 black mana required. Easily adapted into multicolored decks. You know, very cool. It's also a flyer, so it's going to be good in draft. I think you get your sack outlet going. Good in draft if you could do like a food token kind of thing going on in the draft deck, and then you get your Merck Woodbat out. I think that could actually like close out a game.
Yeah, you know? Absolutely.
So yeah, definitely like Merck Wood. I'm full on agreeing with you there that it's a sick card. All right, so that is your that's your number 3.
That's my number 3. What is your number 2?
Yeah, we're gonna do my number 2 now. I have Orcish Bowmasters.
Ooh, this is another one people have been freaking out about.
Yeah, and it's just I feel like there's so many different ways for it to be good, and that's why I like it. Oh wow, look at this, man. $23 before release.
Yeah, I know. The speculation on this card is really high.
So we've got, it's an Orc Archer. It's 2 mana. It's only a 1/1, which, you know, people already are gonna have something to say about that. But let me read for you now. It's 2 mana, 1 colorless, and a black. It has flash, notably. Enters the battlefield, and whenever an opponent draws a card, except for the first one they draw in each of their draw steps, Orcish Bowmasters deals 1 damage to any target, then amass Orcs 1. So we are bringing back to you the amass mechanic.
Oh yeah, Grixis Amass is back, by the way.
Yeah, we are dealing damage to you, to any target, which means we can actually kill your creature if you're drawing cards. So you cast that annoying, what is it, Silver Scrutiny or something like that, that blue spell that draws X cards.
Oh
yeah, flash this in, and you draw 8 cards, and I flash, or that you're playing that annoying mono blue deck, and you cast that thing on your end step. Draw cards equal to the number of islands you control. You got your 8 islands out. I'm gonna pay 2 mana and hit you for 8 damage. I think it's amazing. I think it's so good. And then you get a creature. So you're gonna get, if you play it when you're supposed to play it, you're gonna get 2 creatures.
Yeah. And it's flash. It's easy to play. It's a 2 flash card, so you know.
Draft bomb, mono blue, go fuck yourself. Because you're gonna hold priority with that 2 mana. The fact that most removal spells in black that are commonly used are 2 mana, you're gonna hold up that constant priority and make them think twice about it. Maybe you bait out the counter by playing this on their end step. Now they counter it. Then you get to play your removal. You take out the Haughty Djinn. You take out the other guy, the frickin' Tolarian Terror.
A lot of tricky ambush plays that you could be running.
Yeah, and notably not a legendary, so we're getting triggers, stacking, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Also, if you have the card that Jay just mentioned, your Merck Woodbat out, you are making Orc tokens.
Exactly. You're making tokens.
Right? Because amass means
create a token, army token, yeah.
Yeah, so you're amassing, you're making them lose a life. You're playing black, maybe red, you have a sack outlet. Okay, well, they're going to lose a life again, you know? So yeah, to me, this thing gets out of hand so quick. It is a crazy 2-drop. The fact that it has flash is unreal. And yeah, I mean, they're talking about this card's worth $23 before it even came out.
You already know you're going to
about
Value Town when you see that speculators are like, yeah, this is $23 right here.
Yeah, and then the alt art, which I don't even know if I've seen the alternate art for it, but that is going to go for $34.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, dude, have you seen the alt art?
Yeah, it's like
it's 3 orcs, like actual orcs. Like
it's
the art
3
is
orcs.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's like they're emerging from the side. Yeah, I've seen it.
That's great. Yeah. Okay. So, really cool card. I like the regular art. It's kind of like a chill, almost like animated thing. You know,
kind of a kind of storybook. I don't know what the art. I'm not crazy about the actual art direction. Some of them because they did kind of like almost like a woodcut storybook type of thing. And I get what they were going for. It's like it looks very pastel. Even the enemies look like very puffy and pastel and kind of.
I think maybe it's making it more palatable to children, perhaps.
I guess so.
Like not too scary.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. You know, or maybe just, you know, for I think they're just trying to like bring as many people in as possible because I mean the reason you do a Lord of the Rings set, like you intend to get new players by doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? You put in a lot of work to make sure that and it's going to be tough on some of these new players because you're bringing in some pretty complex mechanics with these cards. So I don't want to say it's counterintuitive, but I mean some of these mechanics it takes a high level of understanding of Magic and the rules
to kind of get these combo plays off.
Use these cards like it takes you know I don't want to say we're you know crazy experience. I think we have experience. We're experienced players, you know.
Well, the sad part is that I'm very experienced, but I'm still bad.
Well, hey, there's something to be said for experience, regardless of level of skill. And they're two different things, and they each have their own benefit. And it takes a pretty experienced player to kind of understand everything that's going to go on with these cards that are coming out. We have, you know, increasingly more and more text on everything.
Yeah. Oh God, I hate I honestly, I'm so turned off by cards that are novel. Oh,
that text inflation.
Yeah, especially blue is very guilty of this. Another reason I don't like blue anymore. All right, so I'm on to my next one now. I'm excited about this run. You all know it, even if you are tacitly know Lord of the Rings, even a little bit. You've got to know this one. You're aware of it. You know. This is the Balrog Durin's Bane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I want to say this is Balrog Durin's Bane. There are multiple types of Balrog. There's the Balrog of Moria, the Balrog Flame of Udun, and Balrog Durin's Bane. I am choosing Durin's Bane, which is a Rakdos one. It is a 7-drop, 5 and 1 black and 1 red. And you're saying, Jay, that's expensive. I don't know the way the game moves right now. Listen, it costs 1 less for each permanent sacrifice this turn. So we're talking about Rakdos. Just paying in treasure, its red and black cost brings its cost down by 2.
True.
It makes it a 5 just by sacrificing treasure. We also have the ability that we can sacrifice a bunch of different creatures. Rakdos has tons of sacrifice that we can pull off. You know,
absolutely.
And if you're running it and you're running it in what's that crap called? Alchemy. I don't know why I forgot the name of that version of the game just then there. You could do something like Deadly Dispute, and you've automatically sacrificed something and added treasure. So you've ramped, and then you can get Balrog out for like 5 or 4 even. It is a 7/5 Avatar Demon with haste. It cannot be blocked except by legendary creatures, and when it dies, destroy target artifact or creature an opponent controls. So even if you kill it, it's going to kill one of your creatures or destroy one of your artifacts. There goes your Palantir, your little fancy Palantir.
Yeah.
I'm gonna crack it open. So I was like, oh, I gotta play removal on the Balrog because this is 7/5 that's pushing me every turn. Well, guess what? You're gonna lose a creature when you kill it. The only way is to exile it, which is an option. But a lot of pressure down on the board. I'm not worried about its casting cost. Again, I feel I can get that down, and especially the fact that it doesn't have to sit on the board. It has haste. and it can absolutely just push. Really, really cool stuff right there. I really like it. They did not give him wings, which I am against. I believe that he is supposed to have flaming wings. The art kind of makes him look like he has flaming wings, but in my opinion, he should have flaming wings.
Did some of the other Balrog arts did he have flaming wings in those?
So there is a long-standing argument in the Lord of the Rings community whether or not the Balrog is supposed to have wings, because he is described as being a great shadow spread out behind him like wings. And a flame, and it will say like, and a wings of flame went behind him. So it's not clear. He says dark shadows like two vast wings appear behind him.
Like wings, but they don't definitively saying it, so they leave it up for interpretation.
Exactly, but if you have shadows that go behind you that are like wings, they're shadowy wings that you have.
There's going to be something to see that at least looks like a wing.
Yeah, and so I mean, it could be, and I don't feel like shadows only go behind you for the light source. I guess if he's on fire,
you should be able to see it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I always feel like he should look like a great. Some they do with wings, some people they don't. Either way, his depiction should show him with vast shadows like wings behind him. So there is my argument for wings.
Yeah, good in historic too. Still, I think.
Yeah.
Probably even easier to sacrifice stuff because there's what's that one? Woe Strider. You can just sack stuff all willy nilly as much as you want.
You can go crazy with it. Yeah.
And then that triggers things like Fatal Push. You know, so like maybe the opponent kills them, but then you use Fatal Push to kill something, and then he kills the other creature they have, and you're getting two creatures out. And Woe Strider can make this guy super cheap, in my opinion. So that's something. So yeah, I think it's a solid card. Even if you hard cast him in draft, he's a bomb. He's a bomb.
Yeah.
Because how many legendaries are you going to have in draft?
Exactly.
Are you even going to be able to block this guy? Dude? Exactly. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have to draft legendary creatures into your draft deck in case someone gets Balrog.
And so otherwise he's just an unblockable.
Otherwise you're gonna lose in 3 turns. You know. So yeah, solid card. Good in draft, good in constructed, and if you find a way to reduce his cost and get him like 4, like you said, 4 or 5, in constructed, I think you're doing fine, and you're getting like fair value. You know. So yeah, awesome.
And now it's time for Numbskull's number 1 pick.
Number
1 draft seed.
The Smitty Werben Jägerman Jensen. He was number 1. I'm going to choose Frodo card. And I think we did a little bit of spoilers previously. And I told you that I loved this card.
Yeah, in our previous video, if you want to go watch it.
It is one of our previous videos, yes. I do not remember how many videos ago, maybe like 4 or 5. Who knows? 3, 4, 5, who knows? But anyway, we did a set review for what was out at the time. This is Frodo Sauron's Bane. 1 plains. And he is a 1/2 legendary halfling citizen. He is a rare. Damn, I think I gave you all rares and mythics. Whatever, deal with it. I always try to give you an uncommon. This time I didn't, and I'm sorry. Jay gave you some really good like artisan and pauper stuff though.
Yeah.
So he made up for it. And this is the kind of creature that you get to level, and I love creatures that you get to like sink mana into and level up. Like I think Evolve Sleeper's great. There were other guys previously where you got to do stuff like that, and I always thought that was a great mechanic. I always thought that it was a way, like let's say you're not drawing stuff, or like you draw Frodo as a 1-drop, and then you have like nothing till turn 4. Well, on turn 2 and 3, I can level up Frodo. I'm sorry, and I'll read you his abilities. So you pay a white to cast him. Now the mana, now he's a little bit restrictive on mana to fully get him leveled up. So we'll take a look there. So you pay the white to cast him. You can pay either 2 white or 2 black, or a white and a black to level him up. And if he's a citizen, he becomes a halfling scout with base power and toughness 2. He becomes a 2/3 with lifelink. Okay, decent. He levels up and gets lifelink for 2 mana. Fine, Now 3 black. If he's a scout, he becomes a halfling rogue with, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game if the ring has tempted you 4 or more times this game. Otherwise, the ring tempts you.
One of those lose the game cards.
One of those like rogue assassin kind of things going on. So he's going to demand removal. He will demand it.
Yeah.
And guess what? I can play my other big creature. You had to use your removal on him, and I only paid 1 mana to get him out, and you knew that you had to remove him before I got him to level 3. If he gets to level 3, and the ring's tempting me with other stuff that I'm casting and this and that, and then he's swinging at you, and if I get to 4, then you lose. And 4 is not a lot. It's not like poison where it's not like poison where it's 10. It's 4.
Yeah.
So, and just starting all of that, starting that clock on turn 1. Let's do it.
Yeah, pushing that ability, and put ring race in it. Make an Orzhov ring race test, and the ring keeps tenting you.
We said you could do like an Orzhov thing with it. We have good enough mana bases, I think, to do this properly. We have our pain lands. I do want to see maybe in the next standard set if because they didn't, like, we have the Caves of Koilos, but we don't have the other one, like the Rakdos one is like the Blackleaf Cliffs or whatever, where like if it's 3 or less, then it comes in untapped and it doesn't hurt you. If they made the Orzhov one of that, like maybe in the next standard set, then he could get even better, because then your mana gets faster to be able to to buff him and have the proper mana to do it. Because like it's kind of tough to have 3 black on turn 3 and a white on turn 1, if that makes sense. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's kind of tough. Like you'd have to start with like Caves of Koilos and then drop like either more dual lands or like just straight swamps.
Yeah.
So you have to be very cautious when you make this deck of your of your devotion to a certain color when you choose the spells. So you have to be very careful there. Although he's a white card, he actually in a sense forces your deck to lean more black because of that final thing that you're going for, so I think he's phenomenal. Really like him a lot. And he's the essence of this set. He has to be up there,
Yeah, and that progression, like you talked about, is really Frodo's progression of being tempted by the ring and turning evil at the last moment. That is his desire. They always talk about how Lord of the Rings is a tragedy with a happy ending. And you see him there on the pinnacle right there waiting. He puts on the ring. You don't see it in the movie. He literally, at the last moment when he's about to throw it in, he puts on the ring. He says in the movie, "Oh, the ring is mine." Everyone's like, "No, he fell. Oh my god, oh, no. Oh, well, what are we going to do?" In the book, he actually challenges Sauron to come forth. He says, "I am the Dark Lord. I am, the Master of the Ring. I am the Lord of the Rings."
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know
title
that.
Drop, and I challenge you, Sauron, to come forth, and I'm the master of total master of Mordor now. And Sauron's like, "Bro, what?" And right when he sees the flaming eye. That's actually the only time in the book that you see the flaming eye, is that the flaming eye reveals itself to Frodo right then and there, and was like, "Bro, what kind of shit are you on, man?" And
heard you was talking shit.
Yeah. So basically he just shows up and he's like, and then of course, spoiler alert, in case you've never heard of Lord of the Rings in your whole life, Smeagol comes out of nowhere, Golem, and bites the ring off his finger. he all of a sudden's like, oh crap, did I just do that? And everyone was like, yeah, man, you were on some shit. Yeah, it goes from there. Basically, Golem goes and falls in the lava and the ring is destroyed. But if Golem had been killed, or if anyone had killed him, it would have been a disaster. Sauron would have just killed Frodo and taken the ring from him. So it was actually Golem in the end that
saved humanity.
That saved humanity by being obsessed with the ring.
Everything.
Yeah. So funny thing, it shows his slow corruption. You know, the slow use of he starts as white and slowly becomes corrupted with black mana, and becomes a rogue at the end there. So really fun stuff. Interesting.
Yeah.
Thematic.
You have how many? The 3 movies, right? You have 3 movies worth of character development in one card.
Exactly. It's hard to do. It's not easy to do. Not easy to do.
Yeah. So once again, like I said, with Legolas, I think they did a good job of capturing that, and like Mount Doom, I think they did a good job with this Frodo in capturing the story as well. And it's so once again, and I know we talked down on Wizards card design a lot, but some of the card design in I'm not saying all the cards have good card design in this set, but some of them are like, you guys knocked this out of the park. I'm not. It's
really on point with how it's represented. Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of on point with how it's represented, let's talk about my number 1 seed. That is going to be Éomer, Marshal of Rohan. And again, I have to say that this is the Marshal of Rohan. Because there's a few of them, and you're saying, Jay, a red card, not a black one. Well, we have our number 1 card, our number 0. The reason we have this guy is, wow, is this guy powerful? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Before you even get into it, this guy gives you a second attack phase. Okay. He is a 4/4 haste knight. So already looking good for Rakdos Knights coming out, which is awesome build right there. 2 red and 2 4/4 haste human knight. Whenever one or more creatures, one attacking legendary creatures you control die, untap all creatures you control after this phase. There is an additional combat. This only triggers once each turn. You kidding me? A second combat phase? Yes, I will take it. We also have to talk about how we can have Samurai. We can put Ryuji Storm's Edge, who will also give you a second attack phase or additional attack phases. So,
yeah.
You know, there's just ridiculously powerful second phase type of stuff that we can put into this this deck right here. We can get really crazy with it.
And then the other guy, Will, the 5-drop, he gives you extra combat phases too.
Yeah.
And he's an alchemy card, so you have a few options there that are giving you multiple combat steps.
And
then in historic, that gets even crazier, you know.
Yeah, and it says, interestingly enough, it says whenever one or more attacking legendary creatures you control die. So it's kind of on the opponent to try to, they have the option, if they accidentally kill one of your legendaries, there's going to be another attack phase. So it's kind of dangerous for them. But it doesn't say they have to die attacking. A savvy planeswalker, a savvy player is going to say, I'm just going to sacrifice him. I'm just going to attack with this 1/1 creature and sacrifice him. You know,
if you're playing Rakdos, you know, you're kind of already, you know, in that realm. So just go ahead, sack it. Deadly Dispute. There's that new 1 mana spell that's like the new Village Rites. Yeah, you know, you have that. You know, you have a good bit of sack outlets, and in historic you have like Oven. You know, you just sack with the Cat Oven, and then do like another combat phase. Like that's
you got to do crazy. A legendary sacrifice.
And that's fine. Yeah, you could you could still sack a legendary with Cat Oven, you know.
Oh, okay. That's right. Oven.
And then you get depending how big they are, you'd actually get 2 food tokens out of it too.
Exactly.
So you're getting crazy value, you know. So yeah, it's really awesome. And I believe he says other attacking. Okay, so he does not count. But it is nice that he comes out with haste and you just go in.
If you're running a legendary, if you're running a Boros legendary or Orzhov legendary, it's a big threat that you're going to potentially if they can't block any of your legendaries. Or I mean, if you combine that with something like, you know, any kind of a swarm of legendaries going in, you do Mardu legendaries or Esper legends, or, well, not Esper because that doesn't have it. Mardu legends or Rakdos legends or something like that. It's an enormous threat going in. So really cool stuff there. I love second combat phases. They're not easy to survive. I've used them previously in the samurai stuff. So I feel like he slots in real nice with samurais. Pretty good.
And they make you really pay attention to like the steps of the turn.
Magic.
So it's good because it makes you think about the game a little more. And usually the first time you pull it off, you actually end up like learning something about sequencing things better. And,
of course.
You know, I know that's like a boring thing to talk about, but doing fun things like that can actually make you a better player, which I think there's something to be said for it, you know? Because what's going to happen is, if you've never done that before, you're probably going to mess it up the first time and you're not going to get your attack step. Exactly. And then you're going to learn like when you're supposed to actually like do your little trick to make it work. And you're going to trial and error. You're going to actually figure it out. You're going to be like, okay, this is the proper sequencing. And then you just got better at Magic, and that's cool. That's good. It's good when the card forces you to be a better player. You know what I mean? I always will approve of that. That always gets a thumbs up from me. Yeah, great Absolutely. Card. The thing that really makes him a home run for me is that he has haste. Yeah, I think that's phenomenal.
Oh yeah, 4/4 with haste that has this ability. I mean, and you're coming out with Knights again. Like I said, Mardu Knights could be just a vicious combo that, you know. So why don't we talk about our joint pick that we really said, this is the one. This card is real bad. Like
bonkers. It's just bonkers.
It's bonkers.
That's the only way to describe it.
Currently in the Reanimator, in the whole Reanimator meta that we are in right now, where people are just trying to reanimate out of their graveyard as fast as possible, this is just, I mean, oh my god. And that's going to be Rise of the Witch King. Rise of the Witch King. Golgari goodness. Of course, Golgari coming in with that clutch play right there.
Yeah, and I like that we're going to turn on the Golgari engines here. And, you know, you want me to read it?
Absolutely. Go for it.
So it's a 2-mana black and green. It is an uncommon, so there you go. I did give you an uncommon. Well, we both did, but I still chose an uncommon. Crazy value. It is sorcery speed. I mean, there's not a lot of it's pretty hard to have the instant speed reanimation. That's kind of tough. So each player sacrifices a creature. If you sacrifice a creature this way, you may return another permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Permanent card. Planeswalker, Portal to Phyrexia, one with the multiverse, all kinds of stuff. You're a Tali, you're a Traxa.
Well, multiverse, I think, is a sorcery, isn't it?
One with the multiverses, isn't that?
No.
That's you.
One. I was thinking Breach the Multiverse. Sorry. I'm
Breach. Gotcha. Yeah. No, it's all good. So there's that. You know what I mean? At whatever planeswalker you want, even if you just need the shoulder to close out the game, you can get Jay can get his Sauron back without even having to pay mana.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
The fact that it's a force sacrifice, and then all you have to do is sacrifice anything, and you get something free from your graveyard in Golgari. Yeah. Which of course Golgari has a ton of shit to pack your graveyard full of stuff. Like, come on, man. Yeah. It's an uncommon.
It's great. And I was already telling Jay, you play your old Rutstein, and old Rutstein says if you mill a creature card, boom, that's what you're getting. That's something you can get back. You mill a creature card, you get a 1/1. You sack the 1/1, you get whatever you want for 4 mana. It's perfect. You can get a Gorger. You're playing Golgari. You can do Flesh Gorger. You know, you can get a Junji, which then would trigger another creature coming back. If you want to do that, you can chain it. You know.
Yeah.
All kinds of crazy value in that 4 mana. where we're also, before
get a Nisa Ascendant Animist.
Yeah, get your Nisa and then make like swing for lethal or whatever.
Yeah.
Overrun everything. Before we were happy, I think the cheapest straight reanimator, like just a single spell, is the Shoulder's Restoration, if I'm not correct.
Yes.
4 mana.
Yeah.
And you can kick it and gain the life, but it also makes you lose life if you don't kick it.
Yeah.
So it's a very conditional, and you're taxed on it. But now we're talking about 4 mana, any permanent from your graveyard, and you're getting an edict effect on all players. You're not targeting a player, which is great because they can't do that new protection spell. That's not going to do it. That's not going to do it for them.
No.
Everybody's got to get rid of a creature. And so obviously good in commander, solid in draft also, and then you get something from your graveyard, you put it in the battlefield. It's an uncommon. It just seems really crazy to me.
Again, this is one of those cards that would be your introduction to something like
Alchemy.
To Alchemy. Like, you're telling me you can't afford 3 or 4 or even 2 uncommons and say, all right, I'm going to put this in my old Golgari deck, my Golgari Reanimator. There's so many good black and green cards out right now. You could even run too. You could, I took the words out of my mouth. I was like, run it in Jund to get the Atali back.
Yeah, there's your Atali. We're all good.
So just ridiculous value that we both saw that and we were like, oh yeah, this is hotness right here. So
ridiculous. And I'm looking at the value of it. This card's gonna go for under $1.
Oh, in paper, yeah. I mean, come on,
under $1, dude. Ridiculous. So there's your also for our commander players. You want to get a crazy commander card. I know you only get to put 1 in the deck, but you're gonna get your commander card. You're gonna kind of go a little more budget friendly here and get crazy value for under $1.
Yeah, use Rutstein for your commander.
I get it. Commander players, they money's not an object for the commander decks, but
no.
If I tell you that you can do all
before
that
you build a commander,
$1,
I don't know if you know this. Before you build a commander deck for like Friday Night Magic, they run your credit, and if you're under like a 750, they're not letting you in the door.
It's like a class thing.
Oh yeah, you gotta have at least a 750 to even. I mean, they'll let you in with a 700, maybe if you put a $3,000 cash deposit, but no, you gotta
But they're gonna judge you.
Yeah, you might have to go to the off table. You'll have a bye week or something like that.
Yeah, you have to sit at the kids table. You made me think of like Altered Carbon when they had to like do their thumbprint to pay for stuff. When you were talking about that, yeah, that's what that reminded me of. It's like a class, like a classist credit system kind of thing, like a social credit, But yeah, crazy card, Rise of the Witch King, ridiculous.
Also,
I think it's great.
It's got cool art on it with the Nazgul. It's also called Rise of the Witch King, which is like, that's a fucking metal album name right there if I ever heard one. So.
Yeah, I like that. Did we have a Witch King creature?
We didn't. I'm not nuts about him. I'm gonna have to see how he plays. He was on my short list, but he didn't get it cut. There is one in the game. It's that leader of the Nazgul is the Witch King. It's the Witch King of Witch King of Angmar.
Okay. Well, at least they lined it up,
Yeah, and there's also there's Witch King Bringer of Ruin as well. So there's 2 of them.
Okay. Oh, that guy. Yeah. I wasn't crazy about that one for 5 mana.
He's not. It's gonna be hard for me to. It's gonna be hard for me to say this is an absolute this is a banger.
I think Bringer of Ruin?
Yeah.
No, Bringer of Ruin wasn't that good either. I didn't.
He's so expensive.
Yeah, just
I'm
much.
So worried about in the current meta. If they have a card that's so expensive and dies to removal, you're telling me I gotta play a 6 I'm playing a turn 6 that can just immediately die to an instant. Come on.
Well, I guess I do like for the Angmar I do like his first triggered ability. Whenever one or more creatures deal combat damage to you, each opponent sacrifices a creature that dealt combat damage to you this turn. The ring tempts you. I do like that.
It's gonna kill things that.
Yeah, but what I want is I want him to be a 5/5.
I know he dies to a fucking bolt, dude.
I don't want him to die to a fucking lightning striker or goddamn a braid. You know, that's not gonna work for me.
He dies to 1 red mana, bro. Like, and I know you discard a card, he gains indestructible, but you have to tap him and you have to discard. It's just like, man, I don't see hyper value in him. I guess I'd throw one of him in just for the funsies for the Nazgul, but I mean, at the end of the day,
he's an expensive card. $13.
He's getting up there. He's getting up there.
So
like
I don't know. Maybe that's your discard outlet for your reanimator. I don't know.
Could be. I mean, you can do that.
But just getting that engine online as a 5-drop is kind of late.
It's late.
You know, it's late when we have a 4-mana spell that does what we want anyway.
I call him. We have No Mercy at home. One of my favorite. Do you know what No Mercy is? You ever seen that card?
I don't know if I did.
No Mercy is from Legacy and the original Invasion. It's really old. Whenever a creature deals damage to you, destroy it.
Oh, beautiful. Is that like an enchantment or something?
It's an enchantment. It's old as dirt. Okay. I actually have one in the cabinet next to me.
It looks like they go for about $7. That's interesting.
That's a very good card.
Looks like it's been reprinted a decent amount.
It's been reprinted. The old one is I remember going to the card store with my allowance and buying this out of the case.
That's awesome.
It's the original Phyrexia. It's the original Phyrexian Invasion, I think. But yeah, he's a weak No Mercy because only one of the creatures has to be sacrificed. In original No Mercy, if anything damages you, it dies. Which basically, if you ran this against a red deck, the red deck was fucking ruined.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it was terrible. I remember I liked it a lot.
I guess maybe the only thing that would be a redeeming quality that's a little different here for him is that you make the opponent sacrifice it rather than you destroying it. So you get around indestructible on their end.
True.
That's maybe one of the only things I could say that you kind of have a little bit of extra value from. But outside of that, it's a little you're kind of pushing it for 5 mana.
Yeah,
maybe he could be a 5/4, even if he was just a 5/4. Make somebody spend a little bit more mana to kill him. Don't make him.
Yeah, I think that was a mistake. Putting, you know what you're doing when you make something a 2 toughness or a 3 toughness. You're putting him in striking range. Like,
yeah.
So,
and maybe that's an opportunity for Wizards to use their powers to rebalance a card.
Could happen. And
absolutely. He becomes a 5/4. I think he's all of a sudden a lot more playable.
Yeah.
And I think he is.
They could also take out one of those. They could also take one of those stipulations out. They could say, discard a card, it gains indestructible, and
you don't have to tap them.
You don't have to tap it, or they could say gains indestructible and hexproof. So now he's immune to exile as well.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool too.
They could up it. So we'll see what happens. He might get a modified version in Alchemy. That's the fun part about Alchemy.
Yeah, so that's cool. And then I guess in regards to bringing it to Alchemy and coexisting in Commander, this one doesn't seem to be too much like Baldur's Gate, where the card text is going to differ from card to card. I think we're getting
this is 1-to-1
in paper and
Baldur's Gate. They had to modify a lot of stuff because it was a commander only set, so they were kind of forcing a commander only set into 4 drops. You could have 4 of them, so a lot of crap had to change. Like they needed to rework a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty satisfied with these cards now that everything's out. I know that you and I, when we did that one episode,
our initial reaction was low power.
We were a little worried, but then they did really drop some bangers. I'm not gonna lie.
It was a little anemic on preview. Yeah,
it was a little anemic. Yeah, it was a little chicken nugget.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But they
swinging.
showed us their card designing prowess, and although you're always gonna have cards that are unplayable and you just think aren't good.
Draft fodder.
Rares that don't need to be rares. It seems like it's in every set. That's fine. But we do have some things that I think are gonna be useful cards. What Jay and I are gonna do. Well, and that's gonna be an upcoming episode. Also, is
early access builds, baby.
Early access builds. What is the new mono black alchemy deck with Lord of the Rings out?
Yeah. And we'll ask the council what cards they really want to see in action too. So.
Oh, in the early access, yeah, absolutely. And then another thing we're gonna have to catch up with, because I know we missed last week. We're gonna have to bring you guys. What does mono black do in standard now that invokes banned?
Yeah, the no.
We're gonna have to bring you that. Yeah, so we're gonna. Is it Junji? Is it? Do we just go up to Breach? What do we do?
I feel.
Do we play Planeswalkers now?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to make something for you and try to make it effective.
The world after invoke.
A post invoke apocalyptic society.
Yeah. The
sky's also on fire right now. But think about that. They banned invoke and the sky's on fire. What do you know?
I know. Coincidence? Did you see that picture? They had the big billboard for Diablo. And it was like, "Welcome to hell, New York." And I was like, "Oh, bro, this is such bad timing." I realize what you were trying to do, guys, but damn, this was a bad look for the.
It was a bad time for Canada to blow their vape clouds all over us.
to rip those fat vapes. I gotta talk to Luna Nix about that. She's the one. I blame her.
In Canada, yeah.
I blame her for.
She didn't help.
No.
But yeah, so yeah, we're gonna have some upcoming stuff for you, and we still plan to get a guest. Still have the tournament, so we have a lot of things in the works.
We got a lot of stuff going on, guys. Join the council.
We do as much as we can to bring you an episode every week. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes we miss a week here and there. We both work full time.
We both work full time and stream full time, and I also make videos. And also, it's important to remember that Numbskull has to defend the #1 seed from all the people trying to come in and take the crown. So I have to fight everybody who comes through Plat 3. So that takes up a lot of time too. You gotta remember that that's really eats a lot of my effort fighting every single person who comes up through Plat 3.
And Diablo just came out.
I'm not going to lie and say that hasn't been a problem. But
yeah, I've only played it a couple times, but it's fun. And if I have free time, I'll play it. I just haven't had a lot of free time the last couple days.
All right. Well, I'm on it all the time. Add my battle.net.
Yeah. I'll have to get your battle stuff, and I know I'm going to jump into a harder server now too. Because I went to the easy server and it was like too easy.
World Tier 1?
I got to go to Tier 2, I think.
Yeah, I went right away to
Tier 2.
To Tier 2.
Did you do hardcore? Die in the game, you die in real life?
I did not. I'm not doing fucking hardcore. I'm not a masochist. Listen, the guy who got, this should tell you everything you know about hardcore. The guy who got #1 hardcore, he got the #1 hit, the #1 spot. He got to hardcore before anybody. His hardcore character, he got to level 100 before anybody. The way his level 100 character died is that he lagged out and died.
Oh, no way. Because the servers were all fucked up.
Yeah, there was a server error, so he lagged and a mob killed him. So, I mean...
That's terrible, man.
Taking your life into your hands there.
I don't even know what I would have done. I would have uninstalled, I think. I think you have to.
I think at that point you got to.
Yeah. I would have, I don't even know what I would have played. I might have smashed my fucking computer. Who knows? I mean, crazy YouTube content, I guess. If he's a creator, if they are a creator.
He got to his, he got to be immortalized as the first level 100 hardcore, and he's going to be put on that statue in the offices.
Still on the server, yeah.
I mean, that's how the character died, is because of server lag. So,
I saw a streamer that I follow. I was watching them last night briefly playing Diablo. They're at 74, pretty far. I don't know if they're doing hardcore
now. I'm 35 on Tier 2, so Yeah.
I'm 5. I played for like an hour, and
Oh
then I messed around for a little bit more time, so I didn't get very far. I just killed like the first boss guy.
Yeah, the intro is kind of long. I know. What's
Oh,
your
yeah,
character? Barbarian?
No, you know I'm a necromancer, bro.
Oh, okay. All right.
You know I'm summoning those skeletons and
Skelebros, yeah. I got
Skelebros and the bone shards and all that.
I'm already
shit.
getting ready for my next one's gonna be a necro. I'm doing necro,
But I
then
know-
barb, then druid, and probably never a sorcerer.
From watching Raven play, I think barbarian it might be the most OP once all the skills are maxed out.
Yeah.
Barbarian's crazy, but I love the passive battle effects. I love the idea of letting the skeletons fight for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So, I love the necro from D2. So
yeah, so I like that. That was always cool for me. So that always entices me. And then also like the way I was able to customize the necromancer character, I really like how my character looks.
Oh yeah, there's some great. Cool. And wait till you get some legendary armor, and he's got that gold skull drip. It's amazing.
Oh hell yeah! Okay, yeah, I'm excited. Yeah. But sorry, this isn't a Diablo podcast, but Diablo's sick.
It could be, if that's what they want.
Well, you guys want to talk about Diablo? We'll talk about it because I'm into it now too. I got a new graphics card, and I got Diablo for free. So now I play Diablo.
Oh, you lucky bastard. You know what game I got for free with my graphics card? I got fucking Forspoken with my graphics card.
Isn't that a good game, though?
No. That was that Square Enix one.
It's not good.
Oh, man. It is just like...
I thought it was supposed to be a good game.
It is the most middle-of-the-road game I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
It is just like the definition of mid.
Doesn't it have like really good graphics, though, at least?
I mean, it's got okay.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was supposed to be this like 4K high FPS like Wonderland capability kind of AAA title, but
no,
I guess not. I mean, they definitely hyped it up. I'll tell you that.
They did. I mean, it was like, oh, this is the new IP from, this is the brand new IP from you know, Square Enix, so it's going to be amazing. And it was like, oh.
Yeah. Well, at least you got it for free. At least you didn't pay for
I got that.
game that sucks. The only thing I didn't like about it is, you know, I got the base version, so I couldn't play it early. They said, oh, you got to pay $20 if you want to play it early, and I'm like, well,
oh yeah.
The whole point of this shit was that it's free, so I'm not gonna
start paying for it. Yeah.
Especially when your servers were messed up the whole weekend anyway. I'm not gonna pay the $20 and then still wait. I'm just gonna wait till you fix it, and then it's like officially released, and then I just played for free because I wasn't in a rush. Like I was like, oh, well, I primarily play Magic still, but yeah, I'm down to play Diablo. So
yeah. So anyways, we tangent that you got that bonus tangent from us. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Bonus
if you guys
tangent.
Play Diablo, you know exactly what we're getting at.
You know what it is. Yeah. So until next time, we're calling this meeting the Black Council to a close. I've been Jay Villainy. You've been great. Good to see everyone. Good to talk to everyone. And we'll be back the next time with even more Black Council goodness. Goodbye, everyone.
Take care, guys.